Hey, what's up everybody? This is Muth24, and today I'll be taking a look at the 1 to 100 scale Master Grade Unicorn Gundam OVA version. I'd kind of like to take a moment here to just say thanks to everybody who gave me feedback in my video where I asked how you guys would like me to split up the different parts to my Master Grade reviews. That really helps me out in figuring out how you guys would prefer to see this done, because really to me it doesn't matter how I split the different segments up. But, obviously I want it to be, how you guys prefer to watch it. So thanks to everybody for that. That said, this review is probably going to be 2 parts, and what I'm planning on doing here is I'm going to go ahead and, do the box, the instruction manual, the colors and stickers on the kit, and then do the poseability for Unicorn mode, and then for the second part, I'm going to do the destroy mode, the transformation into it, and then show any changes in poseability. There's not a ton, but there are a couple minor changes here and there. Go over the weapons and accessories, and then I'll give you guys my final thoughts. Though generally speaking, I don't imagine that most of my review parts will be more than 14 minutes long. I mean, that's about the 14 and 15 minutes is about the limit that I'm going to do for any given Master Grade review segment. So, looking at the box here, you've got some really cool art of the the destroy mode here in the front, and then the unicorn mode kind of in the background. You've got a couple Jagans fighting. And you got some Gira Zulus down there, and the Rizels flying off. I really like the way that this looks. And take a look at the side of the box. Got the the poseability, the transformation mode there. A little shot of it from the anime. You've got the shield, the backpack, and then a look at what the kit would look like without any tweaks right out of the box. And you can look at the bottom there, you've got the same images you have on the front, just kind of slimmed down a little bit there. And then on the side, you've got his different weapons and accessories, how he'd look on an action base. Again, differences between Destroy and Unicorn mode. And that's it for the box. For those who don't know, this is the OVA version. There was the Verka release, I don't know, a few years back. And basically the difference in this one, it's not a huge change, but they adjusted some of the pieces to make the poseability marginally better, and then make the transformation mode a little bit more fluid. Taking a look at the instruction manual here, got a really cool shot. It's the same thing on the front here, but I really like the way that the whole just layout of the new manual looks compared to the old ones. In the old ones you just have this gray background here with the name of the Gundam, a little outline of its head, and then you just jump right into building it. But with this one, you get a more detailed cover. You get a little timeline of the lineage of the Gundams leading up to the Unicorn. So you got the RX-78, the Mark II, the new Gundam, and then of course the Unicorn. Got some info on the different factions involved in Unicorn Gundam, and then other mobile suits from the series, many of which have high grades, and then the only 2 master grades. Or sorry, actually the only 3 master grades as of right now are the Unicorn, the Sinanju, and then the 2 versions of the Rizel, the normal and the commander type. And then you got a list of all the runners and which parts you are going to use and not use. You see the big X's on the ones that you won't be using. Many of those are from the Verka release. And then you've got some little bits of information there on how to apply the marking seals and decals there, and then how to cut pieces off the trees if you're new to building Gundams. And then you jump right into it with the body unit there, and then build the head, the arms, etc. And then we keep going on. And then in the middle here you have the whole fights on segment, except for it doesn't actually say that anymore. You just got stuff about the Laplace memory and some colors for if you're going to paint the kit. Again, the different model kits that have come out for Unicorn Gundam in high grade and master grade form, these are in color. Keep going, building the rest of the kit. get towards the back, and you've got the transformation instructions, and then you've also got a list of where all these stickers and decals would go to. And then on the back, you have basically the same thing that you would get with some of the older kits where they had the cardboard inserts. You've got a look at the front and back with the Destroy mode and the Unicorn mode. Now, what Bandai went ahead and did with this kit is they included some new trees for the different parts that they added for this OVA release. So you will get some trees with leftover pieces like the legs here and the back thrusters for the legs and everything, which came on the Verka release. So in the unlikely event that you actually wanted to go ahead and build the Verka kit, you could, although I'm not exactly sure why you would want to do that. For the colors you're going to get right out of the box, you're going to get mostly white for the majority of the kit. You are going to get a kind of a gunmetal gray looking color, and if you notice when I move it in the light there, it is slightly shiny. It's almost got this semi-metallic look to it, which is really cool. And they've got the same sort of thing for the feet here in this darker blue color. They've got that semi-metallic look, which I thought was a really nice touch on Bandai's part. For the inside of the Gundam, for the Psycho frame and everything, you've got this transparent red color, and that's all over the interior, and we'll get to that when we get to the Destroy mode transformation. But the stickers I used for this kit, I pretty much followed the instruction manual's recommendations for where to put the marking seals and everything. You know, I've got some on the arm here, I've got a couple on the shoulder, I've got some on the chest here, I've got some on the front skirts, down the sides of the legs, I've got some on the back skirt thrusters there, and then the legs. And then for the dry transfer decals, I went ahead and put some of the smaller ones on the backpack here. I went ahead and put the bigger ones on the shoulders there, the Anaheim Electronics and the RX-0 Unicorn. But for the most part, I didn't use a ton of dry transfer decals. I basically just used the big ones because some of the smaller ones were a pain to work with. And I actually went ahead and put some on the weapons as well. Here on the round for the bazooka, put that on either side, and then for the beam magnum, put this longer white one on either side, and then also for the shield, I put a couple marking seals like the big Anaheim Electronics one, and then these ones down the sides, and then this one in the middle there. Now, this isn't how the Unicorn Gun is supposed to look for either its Destroy mode or its Unicorn mode, but I just went ahead and split the V-fin enough that you guys could see in there, and I went ahead and painted this gold and then did a gloss coat over top of it, although you do get two sets of gold foil stickers with the kit, although I thought this looked a little too yellow, and I went ahead and just painted that, and then also when I painted it you can see the detail in there a little bit better. There's also a foil green sticker for the front of the head. There's one on the camera in the back of the head there, and then you're also going to get one for the scope of the bazooka, and then you're going to get one for the scope of the Magnum, and then you do get two extra V-fin sets if you want to use them. The one that I've got on him actually transforms when you swing it back and forth, and it'll split open and close back up. Although the more you do that, the ends will tend to split apart a little bit, so it won't line up perfectly. But you do get instead the completely open V-fin or the completely closed horn piece. So if you want to switch those out at your leisure, you can. I haven't painted the open one yet because I'll probably just use the transforming one here when I have them in Destroy mode, although sometimes in Unicorn mode I may go ahead and use the standalone horn piece. And if you look at it from the side, it doesn't look all that bad, but you turn it around and you can see there's a little bit of a gap there. From a distance, you can't quite tell as much, but close up, it's very noticeable. In terms of panel lining, it didn't take a whole lot of work to get this to pop out as much as it does, because of the fact that you've got all these separate pieces for the transformation mode. Some of these panel lines just kind of show up naturally as you're building the thing. So, I went ahead and panel line for the unicorn horn there, the top of the head. Around the neck, I did some, in the upper arm here, in the front of the leg, on the kneecap and everything, and then around the back. But for the most part, this required some of the littlest effort on my part in terms of panel lining compared to a lot of other Master Grids I've done. For size comparison here, I've got two other Universal Century mobile suits. I've got the Master Grade New Gundam, which is a little bit taller than the Unicorn Gundam. Both of them are really sizable, and in the final thoughts section, I'll be comparing the Unicorn Gundam to the New Gundam on more than one occasion. But you really get the feel that while the New Gundam is much more bulky and more colorful, that the Unicorn Gundam is much more sleek and streamlined and has a lot more detail to it. And for a more standard-sized Gundam, I know it's a little bit bigger than the RX-78, but I have the Zeta Gundam, which you can see that the Unicorn Gundam is slightly taller than the Zeta. So that's just an idea of what you're looking at in terms of size with this kit. In terms of posability for the Unicorn Gundam, the head has a joint underneath by the neck, and then a hinge that connects to the head, so you've got some further rocking back and forth, and you can get them to look up and down a little bit more dramatically, and then the head can rotate 360 no problem. It can't really go side to side that much, but because of the fact that you get that extra joint in there, you can pull off some more angular poses like that. The shoulders can rotate 360 no problem. This piece here is a separate piece from the arm, so the joint that connects to the body on the arm will just slide through that hole in the shoulder piece and locks into place with a little clicking sound. The arms can only go up about that high, and that's because there's no hinge in here that will allow it to go up even further, and that has to do more with the fact that the Gundam can transform than anything else. But you do get some 360 rotation below the shoulder. The arms are double jointed, but they can only bend a little past 90 degrees, which is a bit disappointing. The wrist can rock back and forth like that, and there's also a hinge inside of there, which really only lets it go in more than it does out because of the fact that you've got the back piece of the hand there blocking. And then for the you've got the 360 rotation there at the wrist, and then you've got these three fingers attached to each other at the hinge there, like on most Master Grades, although really there's enough of a gap there where you could separate them if you wanted to. And then you've got the trigger finger on the ball joint, and then the thumb on a ball joint. For the waist, really you're only going to get rotation side to side, although he can go 360. You don't really get that much side to side posability. I mean, it can rock back and forth if you want it to, but the thing is, if I start the backpack off here, you notice there's a little locking mechanism here, and that's basically for when he goes into destroy mode and unicorn mode, that you can lock it for destroy mode like that, and then flip it open and put it back into the other position for the unicorn mode to show off more of the psycho frame. And pop the backpack back on there. The side skirts, if I get this up and out of the way, they can go up and down quite a bit, and they can rotate back and forth. The front skirts can wiggle around some. The back skirts can wiggle around some. And the legs can go forwards about that far, can go backwards about that far, and can bend just 90 degrees, which is a bit disappointing. Although outside to side, he can go flat 180 there because of the fact that you don't have any polycaps here. You've got a peg inside of a joint there. And then for the feet, you've kind of got this double hinge mechanism that allows it to go back and forth, side to side, and then the foot can rotate a little bit. You do get better posability out of the foot, though, in destroy mode, and I'll explain that in a little bit. And then for the waist here, if you pop this piece back, and it'd be easier if I pull off the skirt armor just so you can see it, but it's similar to how you had with the Destiny Gundam, where you can slide this piece out and lock it into place to get the legs out to the side more. I find this is really only all that useful in unicorn mode to get better posability out of the legs, but really it's just there if you want to use it. It's not really all that necessary, but it's not necessarily a bad thing that Bandai included it, because it does help the unicorn stand up a little bit better in unicorn mode when it's not on an action base. There is a joint here on the shoulder that allows it to go back and forth a little bit so you can get some more dramatic poses with the weapons and stuff. And then the cockpit does open if you pull it forwards and then swing it up, and then you can see pilot Benadryl links in there, although I do find that this hinge is really loose and just kind of pops off at a moment's notice, so that's a bit unfortunate. Don't forget to check back for part 2, where I will show off the Unicorn Gundam's transformation mode, I will show off the weapons and accessories, and then I will give you guys my final thoughts on the kit. See you then.